Welcome to the future of bolt load measurement for joint integrity, RT bolt. Pressure boundary bolted joint leakage results in significant cost to industry and society in general. There are three major consequences of joint leakage: safety, environment, and cost. The most significant consequence is that joint leakage is responsible for multiple injuries and fatalities each year. Joint leakage, even on a small scale, can cause significant environmental impact and adverse publicity. The cost of equipment damage due to a major joint leakage incident often exceeds $100 million, and that doesn't include the cost of lost profit, safety, or environment. Not only does leakage have serious consequences, it is also very common. Industry studies showing that bolted joint leakage is in the top 3 sources of loss of containment. The most common cause of bolted joint leakage is poor joint assembly. Current industry efforts to improve joint assembly include assembler training and improved joint assembly quality control. As an example, there is presently a major disconnect in industry between the two types of pressure boundary joints, welded and bolted. Welded joints are very tightly controlled. Welders are qualified and continually tested. Their welds are inspected on a continual basis, and corrective actions to eliminate improper assembly are immediate. On the other hand, bolted joints have very few controls on quality. When there is no one watching, all sorts of things may be going on unchecked. Wouldn't it be great if you could inspect the bolted joint just like the welded joint? Good news, now you can with RT bolt load measurement. RT bolt load measurement allows determination of the residual bolt load after installation and at any time during operation, which allows you to determine if a joint is incorrectly assembled prior to returning it to service. This knowledge enables a step change improvement in assembly practices by eliminating the leading causes of joint leakage, low bolt load, and poor assembly practices. RT Bolt is a patent-pending bolt load measurement device. It works using bolt elongation measurement to determine the bolt load. RT bolts are made at the bolt manufacturing location prior to shipping. The bolt is prepared by drilling a guide hole, reaming the guide hole, tapping the end of the hole to allow for a plug or gauge to be fitted, machining out an internal pin from the bolt itself using an electrical discharge machining or EDM process. The bolt is then plugged, ready for shipping, installation, and joint assembly as normal. As the bolt is loaded during assembly, it bolt stretches, but the internal pin remains the same length. This allows the bolt load to be determined by measuring the displacement between the end of the pin, A, and the internal recessed landing surface on the bolt, B. During operation, as the bolt load fluctuates, these changes can be measured by continually monitoring the displacement between the end of the pin, A, and the internal recessed landing surface, B. The gauge is inserted into the bore of the bolt, which results in perfect alignment of the gauge to the bolt surfaces. The internal pin and external tube of the gauge transmit the movement of the bolt measurement surfaces to the gauge. The gauge can be permanently installed just for assembly, then removed, or used to quickly measure the load on each bolt after assembly. There are a number of advantages to using the RT bolt system. There are no moving parts in the bolt. The pin and gauge alignment are integral and are unaffected by temperature, vibration, and bolt bending. Greater accuracy means an initial unloaded bolt reading is not required, which in turn means that bolts do not need to be individually identified. Another benefit is that the fully automated precision machining process occurs at the bolt manufacturing location in a matter of minutes. So there is no double handling, shorter delivery times, and no limitations on the capacity of the manufacturing process in any region. RT bolt can be used as a probe to randomly inspect joints both during and after assembly. RT Bolt can be permanently installed or periodically installed to monitor bolt load during assembly and operation. RT Bolt eliminates the shortcomings of all current bolt load measurement systems. RT Bolt, radiographic testing for your bolted joint.